In thee my death, writes an old poet. As we are beings with a direction, a front, suggested by our bilateral symmetry of our physical body, then we can turn this way and that way. We have a front, and this front is a divine capacity. So, whatever we focus on, which is the paradigm of our general thoughts, the thing we had turned to, even the parameters we conceive of reality, then this is the red-rosed grave we reach for and which we have dug ourselves, in which we die. Because we always die into something. And we always live into something, which is living life, which we must handle and touch. And there is a sort of chamber, a place, right in front of us, a front in our front, which can hold the things we had turned to, and this chamber has remarkable power. Whatever stays there becomes our God, and whatever is inside it, gives birth to itself. So let us pray like David, I always hold you in front of me. On another topic, I had a strange dream last night. The dream began, to a point, with my playing with two wizard wands, wooden sticks, and in the dream I wondered if I should hold them, because witchcraft is obviously very bad. And then I saw a large troop of demons rushing nearby me. They did not look like regular demons, instead they were made of coverings of autumn leaves, spectre-like, as though like the earth, some humanoid, some like large bird creatures. I can't say they were hideous, although they were compelled in a sort of mindless way, and one of them, a sort of humanoid female, demanded to know where a certain device was. It was a powerful device, or instrument, they had half of it and wanted the other half. They gave it to me, in their demand, and I took it. It was a golden instrument, a bit larger than one's hand. The best image would be to think of a sextant, a navigational device used by old sailing boats to obtain distance and direction in the ocean. Now it occurred to me that I had indeed received such a divine device in heaven years back. In that setting, in a dream, I was pulled into heaven, spoke to Jesus, who took me around, and at some point I met a man in heaven who was an African king, once upon a time, and Jesus asked him to give the device that he had on earth to me, the golden device, whatever it was. I assumed, and assume now, that it has something to do with navigating the spiritual worlds, or heavens. Now back to the first dream, I realized then that the second piece was somehow inside my house, buried and lost in some clutter. The dream ended. There are concepts here which I don't understand. The obvious point is that I had somehow lost this device, although I got half of it back last night. I must rely on another understanding to unravel the thing above, which for whatever reason is written in the code of symbolism, or at least written in a code that demands one search it out, and the searching itself is the password. To begin, the earth is a being, a living being, a species unknown, perhaps the only one of its kind, and for the moment incomprehensible to me. I had listened with interest to the man of God, Francis Miles, who talked about this revelation, and how the witches use the elements of this being to do their dark work. Now this earth, this being, can create. That is why God said, "Let the earth bring forth." This being is not a goddess, she is a servant mother, as the man of God had warned us. My interest for the moment is not the bringing forth but the sinking into the earth, because the earth can swallow things. As it is written in the book of Numbers, the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up. And again, in the book of Revelation, but the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon had spewed out of his mouth. I wonder here if there were two reasons why I had lost the golden device. The first is being lax, where we get our word, relax, from. Being lax, for the sake of my point, is to be indifferent, careless, without sharp focus, without holding things to hold. So instead let me be a being burning with purpose and focus. And the second, is contained in the word, anti-witchcraft, which in its isolation does not seem to be animated with revelation. Is my organic brain, my stale theology, the empty cup the world serves, so insistent and so opposed to witchcraft, that I had by accident refused the world of wonder, a world and mindset of possibilities and marvels? Now we still oppose witchcraft, wherein is inevitable insanity, even as we walk with intention the ambience of wonder and awe towards God. And the device, or part of it, sank into the earth, swallowed up, and somehow there are creatures, demon-like, whatever they are, which lives in the first ground layer of the earth and covered with leaves, and they live in the things that sink into the earth, even as our bodies sink right into it, as it is written, "For dust you are and to dust you will return." So this morning I spoke to the earth, because the earth must be spoken to, and I took back the device. And on another note, if someone curses you, they do it through the earth, and you can stand on the earth, and speak to it, and tell the earth to swallow up their curse. The earth does not want to be your grave. Look up and look for life.